law of the land on the land. That birthright's still present. That's why they won't let him out. But he gonna come out. All of them. All of them. All of them. Look, Dale Jones, they tell us, I think they say he died from cancer or heart attack or something. Whatever it is, they killed him. They was gonna do him like they did Mumia. But the war correspondent Dale Jones started writing books, and they didn't want him writing books from prison where he got more time to study. Get rid of that nigga. That nigga too. Steve Coakley, murdered. They told us he died from some kind of natural shit. No. Ooh. Steve Coakley was dragging all of the dirty laundry of the secret societies out too soon. The people wasn't ready for it. And the people was allowed, that allowed the people to leave him unprotected. The people left Steve Coakley unprotected. He supposed to have an army of brothers around him and an army of sisters. The sisters supposed to make sure all his food is not poisoned and that it's all freshly prepared and stuff like that, so they can't send him nothing in no processed shit. The brothers is supposed to make sure they didn't ride down on him with the military. Well, in this case of Steve Coakley, it must have been the ladies lacking because they poisoned the shit out of him. They poisoned him just like they did Khalid Muhammad. I think Khalid was a little something different. But anyway, I ain't going to get into that. I don't want to go there because that's a sore spot for me. And anyway, when we start realizing who people is, it changes how we start treating them. Remember, I done been treated like shit my whole life except by a couple people that's not related to me. I got more people in our community look at me sideways than any other community. I feel right at home in a Puerto Rican party. I feel right at home at a Mexican party. I feel right at home at the Belizean party. When I go with a party where it's just us, what we call the regular brothers, man, everyone will always turn into a fist fight. It'll always go bad. Always go bad. Somebody don't think that I need to be there, I guess. I can't figure out no other reason, but it always used to go bad. When I go to them other people parties, I went to a Hmong party. And I thought I was the guest of honor and I was just there. You know, so when you understand that other people can see our tribal leaders and we can't even see them because we've been blinded to it by this system telling us that they are the legitimate authority, and they not, right? They are frauds, right? So I think I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I'm about to go rustle me up some vittles. You know why we always in competition? It sounds crazy, but we always in competition with us because we the best. We don't want to compete with no busters. We want to compete with the best. And if we want to do it, we want to do it as the best. And the only way we can prove that we the best is we got to compete against the best. You think about that. This is why we always at each other's head, because every one of us is striving to be the best, and the only way to prove you the best is by competing against the best. And that's what put us in the arena that pits us against each other, right? That's why all of the greatest fights, the biggest fights in the history of the fight game, the top 50 fights was always two brothers. Like, it might not be all 50, but about 45 out of the top 50 fights in the history of boxing has always been against two brothers. Mano a mano. Best against the best. right? At first, it started out one-sided because Jack Johnson was just slobbering everybody until they forced him to take a dive. Sugar Ray Robinson was whooping everybody to death. Sonny Liston was pounding people to the ground until he ran into Cassius Clay, and he turned into Muhammad Ali and became the greatest of all time. Whether he was or whether he wasn't, it don't even matter because he got us convinced. He said it so much and so eloquently and with so much class and so much conviction that we don't even question it. We don't even question it. But to tell you the truth, judging by fighters who fight and watch the fight game, I don't think a prime Muhammad Ali could be the prime Joe Louis. I don't think a prime Muhammad Ali could be a prime Mike Tyson. But if it was no Muhammad Ali, there would be no Mike Tyson. So it becomes an unorthodox paradox at that point, because one influenced the other. If it was no Jack Johnson, we wouldn't have no Muhammad Ali or no Joe Louis, right? And all of the greats, like for instance, if it wasn't no Elijah Muhammad, wouldn't be no Rod Hayes. If it wasn't no Marcus Garvey, wouldn't be no Rod Hayes. If it wasn't no Malcolm X, wouldn't be no Rod Hayes. If it wasn't no Clarence 13X, it's a whole lot of people that if you take one of them out of the equation, I don't be here. I won't be doing what I'm doing if just one of them is missing, because it ain't my time yet. But by all of them being there and all of them being a significant influence, now it produces the perfectly cooked stew of understanding of our condition, and the solutions is always in the problem. And for parents, get you a book of quotes, encyclopedia quotes, political quotes, power quotes, military quotes, witty quotes, funny quotes. But the book of quotes, those are tidbits of wisdom. And the more of them that you can share with your child and use for topics of discussion, you are teaching them more of the ways of wisdom than rote information. If you tell them, you hear me say sometimes, Winston Churchill once said that the truth is so valuable it must be carefully guarded by a ring of lies. Right? Well, what do we mean? It's a topic for discussion. It's a way to get a young child's mind to churn it. What do we mean? Why would you want to hide the truth with lies? What does it benefit the truth to be concealed with the lie? It doesn't benefit the truth at all. But all of the lies get to shine off that little bit of truth it reflects. Let that sink in. Right? Then they say history is written by the victors. Well, who wrote our history books? Who wrote the history books? Why did they write them? If they the victors and they wrote history, what angle do they put on it to make us see the victor as the hero in the story? What if he really the villain? Have we ever considered that option? What if the victor is the enemy that's telling us the story that make us go along to get along, so he don't have to fight to keep us down? So, I'm going to start collecting book of quotes, the little book of quotes, the big book of quotes, the little big book of quotes, the little book of big quotes, the big book of little quotes. It don't matter, because I find that you get, by taking what people said, you get so much more understanding of what was going on in any given time frame, because you understand the powerful people that's making these statements mindset. Like when I go over the most violent, bloody oath of the papacy, that's the Jesuit oath. But it's not called the Jesuit oath. The Jesuits have another oath called the Jesuit oath. But the secret oath of the Jesuit is the most violent, bloody oath of the papacy. to kill the kings, the princes, and the people of the land. Well, why would they do that? They've been doing that over here because we had kings and queens over here, but we didn't call them kings and queens. Then the foreigners came and they gave us the title of chief to represent our leadership, so we won't never remember the tribal names was always in reference to the sun or to a tree or to an animal, right? So whatever it was, in the end, when it break down, it meant either the shining ones, that means sunny, sunny boy, sun, ray, rah rah, all these different names. These are names from chiefs. When you double it up, that means they got the chief right from both sides of the family. The boy might start off, his name might be Josh, but they might start calling him Sunny Boy. Why did they start calling him Sunny Boy? They can't help it. It's in the DNA. Whatever we was is what we are, and if you understand the culture, you will see how we respond to different people, right? So we got Big Mama, we got Nana, we got Baby, we got TT, all of those elder women, and the ancestors, the invaders came over. They say we rally around these women like a pack of ants, so they started calling our aunts or aunts, because we used to call them my mama's sister, because she was your mama too, right? And our grandmama was my mama. But that's got to be too much of a tongue twister 4 generations down, because we was living that long. Because we would have my mama's mama. That's who she is. And the settlers, they couldn't keep up with that. Because sometimes we would call somebody mama for 15 minutes. That means she's almost 300 years old. That's my mama's mama. But we gotta get back. The culture's still here. They told us they can't kill the culture. The culture comes back in phases based on the leadership that's arising at the moment. When they came, there was no high chiefs on the land. There was only what you call interim chiefs, which were chiefs that was learning to become a high chief, who had to be deceived by the settlers in order for them to learn the deception, so that the settlers would never be able to deceive them again. Right? So now they got us disregarding our culture and our natural ways, and what we not realizing is that's one of the things that's making us lag behind in every area, because our culture is present, but we don't acknowledge this presence, which makes it slows down to be seen. And when it slows down to be seen, it's open to be infiltrated as it's following its natural course of progression. So we came up with the rock and roll. They came up with the CIA agents infiltrating rock and roll through the Tavistock Institute, right? When we left rock and roll, they came out with pop music. They took what they learned from the Tavistock Institute and they gave it to something called Sony Inc. Then, once they realized that we just changed the music again, we coming with something called hip hop. They have to hijack it. And they hold their little secret meeting in 1991 to hijack hip hop, because it was being used as a tool of socially educating each other about the social climate and the conditions within the communities all across the land. And then if any given time, LA, Miami, Dallas, Detroit, Atlanta, and New York all figure out that we're going through the same thing with the same enemy at the same time, and nobody told us, then we're going to all be the same amount of pissed at the same people at the same time, and that's called unifying the force. They don't want that energetic force unified, so what they do? Hijack the source of the communication. But go back to Buju Banton. It's through that mystical communication within we keep on coming together. I love it to see when brothers and sisters is looking out for one another. We get it from the reggae. So now we, in hip hop, we mumbling now because we can't tell you what we need to tell you, but we sending you over there to listen to the Rasta man come with that Rasta talk. Right? He gonna come tell you in the dance hall what that man doing. See, he hijack you hip hop, but he don't hijack that Rasta man. Because we see that double coming. Right? So the ancestors smart as hell. Every way that they thought that they was going to use as an oppressive tool against us, we figured out how to use it as a come up. So that concludes tonight's Chiefing with the Chief. Remember, my next video, my next live I'm gonna do by myself, it's gonna be titled Chiefing with the Chief. If I was an African, this is why I would be proud. But I ain't no African. So, but I'm gonna tell them, go over some stuff in Africa, and I'll probably bring my tablet so I can go over some pictures and receipts for y'all. But if I was an African, I'd be a proud African. I love Africa. I love the Zulu. I love the Dinka, the Falasha. I love the Mindi. Them people, they got rich cultural backgrounds. Warloff, right? So when you start realizing, look, I'm going to send y'all down a rabbit hole. Look up Niger Condorfian language, and it'll divide the tribes up over there for you. It's going to blow your mind. Niger Condorfian language, or Niger Condorfian linguistic stocks, because all of his Bantu's the parent language. One of the most significant languages is Bantu's, because a lot of the tribal tongues that are it's the bridge between the click languages and the non-click languages, and it's the Bantu root language. But they got a real beautiful, rich culture. They're just not my people. I don't have a problem with them. They're just not my people. My people from over here, we rose up out of the Mississippi clay dirt, this color, red, ruddy red, with nappy hair, right? So, I mean, we don't have no adverse. We want Africa free, just like we want free over here. The same. We want Africa free, just like we want free over here. Only we have to fight for this freedom, and Africans have to fight for that freedom. Now, we have people over there called Liberians, right? That's our contribution to assist them over there, because at any time the Liberians want to come back home, the Africans over here have to be the contribution from Africa to make way for the people to, Eddie Murphy, trading places back to America, coming to America, whatever the hell you call it. But it's all part of the game. And the game is called switcheroo. Switching you with somebody else while they telling somebody else that they switching them with you. So they playing the old switcheroo game. Just like they keep switching up Kamala Harris's every couple of weeks between this little petite lady, this big busted lady, and this man playing the shell game in Central Park. Like we ain't supposed to see this. They got 15 Joe Bidens. The newest Joe Biden, he almost tall as Will Chamberlain. This lady, Jill, went from being this tall to him to being all the way down here on his shoulder. Like, what the hell is it? They so obvious with the tomfoolery that Like, what? Y'all don't see this? And then you got people in my inbox thinking that I'm picking on Kamala Harris. They don't know I love the shit out of Kamala Harris. The real one, the Indian lady, that's the real Kamala that parents met up in Jamaica, came to America, dropped the baby off. That Kamala, the real Kamala Harris, I don't have no problem, with her as a woman. She a little freaky for my taste, Hawk Tua and all of that. She a little, but I just can't get with the man. Because I seen the drag race with these drag queens on a cannonball run, scavenger hunting across the land to pillage and loot all of our resources.